Okay, this is a quick video of what I call copper mining. Now, by that I mean going through whatever change I have accumulated over a period of time and collecting out the pre-1982 pennies. Those pennies are very high in copper. I believe it's 95% copper. And some say that if you're one of the, a copper bug, that these will eventually be worth more than the penny that it represents as currency. Now that is currently the case. Apparently a penny is worth about I think it's 3 cents now, something along those lines, and it definitely costs the government more to print pennies or to mint pennies than they are actually worth. So that's one of the reasons why they've moved from copper to excuse me, to a higher content of zinc. I think it's like 100% zinc now with just a thin copper plating on there. So I just go through my accumulated change and pick out any pre-1982 pennies. Now, some of the pennies that were actually minted in 1982 are copper as well, but some of them are zinc. So you actually have to try to make a determination of whether or not you want to collect those as well, because some of them might be zinc and they might be actually worth less than the pure copper or the 95% copper pennies. Now, historically, I've always taken the wheat pennies out. Those are the ones with the wheat on the back of it, as opposed to the, what is that? I believe that's the Monticello on there. Don't quote me on that. I always used to sort those out anyway. And it wasn't really until I read this book, Crash Proof, you can see it there, by Peter Schiff, that I started separating out the pre-1982 copper pennies. Now, I knew that they had switched to copper, from copper to zinc at some point in time, because I actually had a zinc galvanizing company, and the guy was complaining that, well, you're regulating his zinc discharge, the amount of zinc being discharged in his wastewater. And he wanted to make a point that the pennies themselves were made out of zinc, because, zinc was first and foremost in his mind. So he took out a pair of shears and he cut through one penny. It was copper. Cut through another penny, it was copper. Cut through another penny, it was copper. And finally, he cut through a penny, and you can see the copper plating on there and the actual silvery material in the middle. So I knew at some point in time that they had actually made that switch, but the real significance of it at that point in time, that goes back to maybe 1991. The significance of it was kind of lost on me at that point. But these days I'm a little more familiar with Gresham's law. You can look that up, and basically that is, if you have coins of different materials in circulation, the coin that is of the higher value due to its metal content will essentially disappear from circulation as people start to hoard them. And that's what happened with the silver quarters after 1965. That's what happened with the silver clad half dollars after 1971, because you will not find those in circulation, or you will find very few of those in circulation these days, because as soon as someone hears it, they just sequester that for themselves. They hoard it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go through these and mine out the copper pennies. So I'll be back in a couple minutes after I do that and find out what my haul is. Okay, well, I've finished my copper mining, and this is the haul that I've gotten out of this big bag of coins. You can see here, real close up. It has been reduced to these pre-1982 and just maybe a handful of 1982 coins. And I think on the earlier part of the video I had called the structure on the back of the penny the Monticello. The Monticello is actually a different structure. This is the Lincoln Memorial. Of course I should have known that, because why would you have the Monticello on the back of a Lincoln penny? And this is the wheat penny, and this is pre-1959, so 1958 back to I think 1909 when they first came out with the Lincoln penny. That was on there until they put the Lincoln Memorial on there. Now this is 1983. Let's see if you can see that. 1983. And 1983 is the first full year in which the pennies were made of zinc and electroplated with a copper finish. Most of the time you'll see they'll say pre-1982, because that's the only way that you can be sure that it is 95% copper. But there is another way. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know how this is going to come out. So let's shine a little more light on this. And you can see that some material had been removed from this, just from the side of this coin. And that's 1982. And that shows up as pure copper, contrasted with this, which shows up as copper plating over a zinc core. Matter of fact, a zinc structure. So I don't know whether or not this is actually going to show up. Let's turn the light off and see here. It's really hard to tell whether or not that's going to show up. But the one on the bottom, it has a silvery look to it compared to the one on the top, which is the copper colored one. And that's simply because the one on the bottom is a zinc coin with a copper electroplating on it. And the 1982 one, did you see that? 1982 one is the 95% copper. So that's one way that you can tell very easily, very quickly, without totally destroying or defacing the coin. And that's pretty much my copper mining. Let me know what you think about collecting copper coins. Once again, the value of copper, it's probably not going to, go astronomical. And there's actually a law passed in 2006. I believe it came effective in 2007, which pretty much forbids the destruction of these coins for melt value, and also makes it illegal for you to send these coins overseas in an attempt to get the copper value out of them. So let me see if I can find that real quick, or if not, I'll just append this video with the actual ruling and law on that, and you can then do your research on it for yourself. But as I said, this is just a video about mining copper in the form of pennies from your coins that you may just accumulate over the course of months or years and throw in a shoebox or your coin jar, something like that. And then you can just take a couple minutes, didn't take any more than about 5 minutes or so just to separate out my 1982 and pre-1982 coins, pennies, from that mess. All right, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.